Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, TKK, man. Listen, I would encourage you, first let me say thank you for your support. If you want to leave a like on the video, if you like the video, that's totally cool. But I'm going to encourage you to sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the talking points for this video. I'm going to go shoot straight. Intro's already rolled, so we right here. I'm going to phase forward in a second and kind of show you guys my living room setup. Get some lights, some extra lights in here. So I want to have a discussion today. I've been having some good talks with some of you guys in the comment section as of late about different things, different questions I've been asked. And I want to share an experience with someone that I had the other day. I met a person, random person, doesn't know I'm on YouTube or anything like that. I didn't take it upon myself to show this person any of my content or what I own or anything like that. And we were literally having a conversation about TVs. It was just funny, man. Just randomly, I see this guy, he's looking at a TV and we're talking about it. And I asked him, I'm like, well, if you don't know a lot, do you want some help? You know, just consumer to consumer, you know? And he said, yeah. And so we start having a good conversation. I started talking about how far he's going to be with his TV. And ironically, he's in front of a 77-inch LG C1 OLED. Last year, television, 2021, amazing. Very nice color. You calibrate the thing, it's beautiful. Fantastic gaming TV. For me, it was the best gaming TV on earth last year. Again, never considered buying a G because I'm not a TV mounter. It's only until this year that I started mounting TVs, and my TVs are mounted on desks. So with that being said, I'm talking to this gentleman and I'm offering him some context as to what the differences are from a technical perspective on what an OLED is versus an LED. The way I like to articulate it, you got your screen, you got your grid of lights. Those lights, you're always going to see some bleeding or some blooming or some haloing. And it's because, you know, those lights can only dim so much. The smaller the LEDs are, the better. OLED is going to give you that individual control. So again, just dumbing it down for him. We had a good talk. And so then we went over to the Samsung quantum-oled. We started talking. And so I told him, I said, hey, man, this is kind of like the next level. And he was just like floored about it. So we did get to a point where I started talking to him and I was like, hey, would you believe me if I told you I own both of these TVs? And he kind of gave me this look like, you know, like, yeah, right. You know, and it's still cool because, again, I didn't want to go and show any of the content that I have or that I own this or that. I'm not a bragger. Like, people meet me in person, I'm straight, humble, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't brag and I'm not that type of cat. I will pop off on people that are like-minded with me. You know, I'm cocky to people that are cocky, but you know, when I meet people just day to day, I'm never like showing them what I have and what I own and what I bought or whatnot. But we had a great conversation. So the conversation kind of shifted to some of the points I want to make in this video. And so, you know, the S95B only coming in 65-inch. He was really hung up on the fact that the C1 OLED, again, we're not even talking about the C2 because he didn't even know the C2 existed. He didn't even know what the OLED was. And so without confusing him on saying, hey, well, there's a newer version of this, he was just like really drawn by the fact that this OLED had this beautiful picture quality and it was massive. Like, it's very large, right? 77 inches, huge, man. It's like 15-20% overall volume of screen versus a 65-inch. And so it's definitely something to be considered if you can afford the real estate in your property, be it the room is mounted on or going to be the wall is going to be mounted on or the TV stand is going to be on. If you can afford that real estate, it's nice to have a TV that big. And in a few minutes, we're going to go take a look at my setup. I'll kind of talk you guys through it. This video is going to have some length to it if you don't know. So please do watch. So he was kind of hung up on a fence like, man, this Samsung looks amazing, right? Because you know how that demo looks. And then when you're looking at it next to even like the AK Samsung and everything, it looks better than everything that's like in the vicinity, right? And so now it has you in this illusion of like, damn, this TV looks so good that even an AK TV doesn't look good, without people not understanding that it's the technology, you know, that makes it look so good. It's not even the resolution. So it's one of those things where you'll be misled. The Samsung TV has done a phenomenal job of unintentionally misleading people in so many different regards. The example that I just made is one. You will see that TV and you'll see an 8K TV, and automatically you will think it's so good that you don't even need to look at 8K. Not understanding that 8K is double the pixels. It's just the type of picture that it is, the way that the colors are articulated and the brightness and how they stage it. It's done really well. But this gentleman was just really on the fence because he's like, man, it's 65 inch at the end of the day. So we're looking at measurements, and I'm talking to him again, thinking back about my video. I'm going to show you guys in a second, but I made a video where I was sitting in front of my 77 inch and I measured, and I remember that I'm about 99 inches, 98 inches, maybe 100 inch. If I'm sitting back from like my head to the screen, I'm about that far from my 77 inch. I've realized recently that a 65 inch will be doable, but it wouldn't be as enjoyable. It would not be as enjoyable. And so the range that he was at was about 140 inches away. And even the 65 was still look good. But like, you know, hey man, if you want the bigger size, you got to keep in mind, like, you know, this is like a movie theater size, right? And people love large screen TVs. So we're going to go take a look at my setup. Be right back. Okay, I want to walk you guys through my setup. So no tripod being used, handheld tripod. I've got a 1 speaker, 2 speaker, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 speaker setup. Forgive me on the video phasing out. A little dark in here. Let's get some lights in here so we can be focused. Sorry about that. But I've got a nice setup here. This is my sweet spot, right? Pretty wide chair. It's reclinable. And if I'm sitting here, so I was just explaining to you guys, I'm about 100 inches away, head to screen. This is with a 77 inch, obviously. Got a console in here, turntable. I love this room, I love this area. So some of the biggest things that I tell people to keep in mind and focus on, if you can afford the space, definitely get the bigger TV. The problem with today's outlet media is that we're being led to believe that this TV, the S95B, is just so good that it almost makes this like non-existent. That's not the case. So let me get back to my desk so we can further discuss this. And so my intent wasn't to be melodramatic, but visuals help in my opinion. So now you have an idea of, you know, what my living room looks like. And I do use LED TV daily. Currently I'm watching Better Call Saul. It's in its 6th season on Plex. I'm watching Halo. I'm watching Fear of the Walking Dead. And I'm currently watching, in chronological order, pretty much all of the animated Batman movies. So my C1 is very much so getting a lot of use. I said that to say that that TV is still available and it's very much so affordable. Now, when that TV came out last year, it was $3,500, and that's what I paid for it. That TV right now is about $2,700, $2,600 for 77 inch. We're talking in that exact capacity. Extremely hard to deny a TV being that good, that large, that affordable, comparing it to a TV that is 65 inch, that does look better. It's not even an arguable thing. So keeping it real. However, it's $3,000 and it's smaller. There is a diminishing return, I'm telling you. Now, if you're looking at these TVs together, and this is why I really don't like doing the comparison videos, and that's why I'm not trying to, forgive my language, whore my channel out to doing every video being a comparison video of these two TVs, because realistically, you're not going to be sitting with them. That's number one. You're not going to have both of these TVs. Number two, my camera and no camera on the internet is going to be able to give you an active live reproduction of what you're seeing if you're actually looking at these TVs. It's just impossible, right? So I feel like those type of videos, they do really good with the views, but they sway away from the type of content that I personally want to make, right? And then speaking to that, I feel like as a reviewer of this stuff on YouTube, myself, along with my other fellow content creators, we have an obligation. There's a level of integrity that needs to be intact where we are supposed to be responsible for offering you guys some realistic context as to what's going on with these. I particularly understand what my lane is on YouTube, and I think it's a very unique one. I have my resources in order. I have my information in order, and I am a regular consumer of this stuff. So none of it's new to me. My thing is I like to provide you guys with a simple truth, just a baseline truth of how I would utilize my stuff. I'm a gamer first and foremost with these TVs. I'm talking about going all the way far back to me owning Sanyos and TVs that just weren't that great. And I had great TVs before that, but I went through an era where I was not even I didn't feel like I needed to spend the money on TVs because I was spending the money on monitors, right? I was catering to what I professionally or semi-professionally at the time was using my monitors or displays for, which was gaming. TVs had no way to produce the level of input latency. They didn't have the game modes. So I wasn't investing in all these crazy TVs at one point. However, prior to that and now, or after that point, once I started doing that, again, I went to the same simple logistics as to what I look for. I look for great picture quality and I look for something that's going to give me a stable gameplay. Understanding that everybody has different needs when we're talking about what a great TV is, in my opinion, a great TV is going to be affordable. It's going to have the size that you want. It's going to have a certain level of image quality. And it's got to be like gaming has to be a factor into it too. Now, a lot of people that do buy TVs will say, hey, not a gamer. I don't care about the gaming stuff. But again, as a reviewer of this type of stuff, I think it's great that we stay unbiased and that we keep it real. Now, getting back to the C1, amazing TV. To you guys that have asked me about C2, C1, I feel like, you know, integrity is big to me. Loyalty is big to me. Consistency is big to me. LG still makes one of the best products out here, period. Period. I'm in front of my C2. As I told you guys, it's not going anywhere. I got another C2 in my dining room. What was in my dining room prior to my C2 that's in my dining room is my C9. It's now in my bedroom. My videos are shot in chronological order, so you can literally go back from this video and you'll see at some point where we talked about all of this, right? I will be getting the new Sony TV, 100%, because the S95B is now in my bedroom. It's crazy, man. I'm one of those type of cats, but the LG products are still amazing. Now, I'm not saying that for the LG guys to be like, yeah, we got to win. He talking about us. I'm saying that just so that you guys can understand that quality comes in all different forms from different manufacturers. Now, I haven't bought any Vizio TVs or any TCL TVs or anything like that because on paper, they just don't offer me anything. I like shooting for the best top 4 TVs if I can. Every year, that's what I'm going for. And so I just want to make sure that when I spend my money, I don't mind spending it. But when I do spend it, I want to know that I'm getting a great product. And so on my channel, that's what I'm looking to give you guys, just some realistic, you know, context as to what you should be expecting if you're using these things. If you guys are looking for a large TV, please consider getting the LG C1 or C2. And if you're going to mount it, you can look into the G1 or the G2. It's going to be the best gaming TV that you can get in that size. Listen to what I said. The LG products are the best gaming TVs in that size. What makes them the best? Well, the picture quality is within margin because we can argue that obviously the A90J is going to be superior, but input latency is going to be lower. Game Optimizer is going to run much more fluid on the LG side of things. And that's why I make the recommendations for those. Now, outside of that, keeping in mind, people still do go to the movies. We know this because when you look at the box office numbers from the Batman movie, the Spider-Man movie, the Doctor Strange movie, and I can go on. These movies are going to hit $1 billion in revenue, which means there's a lot of people around the world still looking at big screen TVs with very low nits of brightness that don't have all these bells and whistles like high dynamic range and you know what I mean? Like the pixel density is not that tight. It's not even 4K resolution, if you will. So keep in mind that you don't have to have the absolute best looking TV today. So I do understand why people talk about the Samsung S95B so much. I own the TV, and so it does really good when you talk about it on the channel. However, there's other great options out there. Let me know if you guys have any comments or questions about what I'm saying. If you have an opinion, please leave it. I'd love to hear what you got to say. I like to converse with you guys in the comments section. It is Monday. It's 7:06 Eastern AM time right now as I'm about to end this recording. And so I'm going to render this and post it up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Max love.